How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another...
No.
What do you mean, no?
I am not helping with this review.
Well, you don't have to. I'm covering this.
It's not Golden Age, it's Bronze.
Okay, yes, this is another Bronze Age, but I told you I will cover the Silver and Bronze Age if I find something interesting about it.
You mean ridiculous?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go ahead, say the name.
The name of the superhero team? I don't have a problem saying what their name is.
Do it then.
Okay. We're covering the Force of July. Yes. This probably would have been a video that would be better for next week, but I honestly just heard about this team and I thought it would be great to cover them. There is no origin story for this team at all. They just are. It's a weird thing for DC. I mean, characters have origins. Well, characters didn't always have origins right away. I would have liked to have seen a little one-shot of their creation at least. But yes, we are doing the Force of July. And this is odd. Everybody that is part of the team that comes out at this time are dead. They are listed as dead. I don't know if they're alive in the current continuity, but by the time the 90s hit, they were all dead. Most of them died on the pages of Suicide Squad. I don't know why they were created, and the fact that they were called the Force of July just makes it even more ridiculous. I cover the team, I cover the characters and their powers, where they appeared and when they died, and then I cover the first appearance. Now, the first appearance is gonna get a bit long. I didn't cover every single pages because it's a big thing. Their first appearance in their entire story is an annual, and annuals are never small. So, like I said, I cover the team, I cover their powers, and then I cover the first appearance. I didn't go over every single page. I chopped it down a bit and tried to condense it to where it was still long enough that I told the story, but not so long that you turn the story off and read the whole thing yourself. I think I do a pretty good cover of it. So let's go ahead and do this. Lost Heroes of the Golden... This is Lost Heroes, because even I didn't know about this team, and I knew about DC in the 80s. In fact, this is weird. I think I actually owned their first appearance, but I haven't... I got a lot of Batman and the Outsiders, and I hadn't actually started getting to them yet. I got lots of comic books to read. So this is one I hadn't gotten to yet, so that's probably why I didn't know about them. But as obscure as things go, this is pretty obscure. So let's cover the Force of July. I hope you enjoy this one. It does fit into the month, although it might be about a week late. Should have come out last week. So let's get into this one. The Force of July. Who came up with that? Okay, the Force of July. Yes, that is their name. First appeared in Batman and the Outsiders #1, annual #1 in 1984, created by Mike Barr and Jim Aparo. So you guys are responsible for this. Okay, now this is going to be a team video. I am not going to cover the entire first appearance because it is over, it is 40 pages, and I'm not doing 20 segments of reviewing the entire comic, but it is broken up into chapters, so we will go into the chapters. But before we get there, we'll go ahead and discuss the members of the team. The team leader is Major Victory. The other members are Lady Liberty, Sparkler, Mayflower, and Silent Majority. Now, there are some other names that are associated with the team, but they're not part of the team as part of the superheroes. Now, all 5 of these superheroes are currently dead, at least in this iteration. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to briefly go over... I'm not going to keep saying the first appearance. All 5 of them appeared for the first time in Batman and the Outsiders Annuals #1. But I will be covering briefly their powers and what issue they died in. And then we will go over... can we just abbreviate this to BATOA #1? I mean, that might get confusing. It's a big acronym. And we'll go over it in chapters and how well the team did against Batman and the Outsiders. And, you know, Batman and the Outsiders being the good guys, they would win. Now, they do call the 4th of July, I guess they say their alignment is bad, but they weren't really bad guys. They thought that the Outsiders were the subversives, like the 5th Colonists, and they were fighting for the American ideals. Now, they did go up against the Outsiders on some occasions, but as the storylines got farther in, the Force worked with the Outsiders a couple of times before the 4th of July ended up going against the Suicide Squad. Now, going up against and being part of the Suicide Squad is what led to the majority of the team's death, and Major Victory would die later in the 90s, and DC was really extremely screwed up in the 90s. I don't care how anybody tries to defend DC in the 90s. They were really, really screwed in the 90s. They had a crossover of comics called Bloodlines. I mean, they were seriously screwing. They were nuts in the 90s. Anyways, let's go over the entire team. We'll start off with Major Victory, the leader, and then we will cover the rest of them, their powers, and then briefly go over the first appearance. Major Victory, William Vickers. Well, we know where he first appeared. I've mentioned it. There is no origin story for any of these characters. He doesn't have an origin story either. He has the ability of leadership, because, of course, well, he's the leader. He has superhuman strength, flight, and energy projection. And that's just pretty much what you would think about it. Now, he wouldn't die until 1993 on the pages of the Eclipso comic, which I believe ran for 18 issues. And this was a really screwed up thing. I went through most of it. It is really, really brutal. If you have a weak constitution, don't go through Eclipso. Just read a review and leave it at that. He was part of not the Suicide Squad, but pretty much a suicide team that went in trying to defeat Eclipso. But it was a 4-man team, I think, against 1,000 of the people that were... I really don't know. They were like followers or worshippers or infected by, and they slaughtered him and the entire team. So he would be the one that went on for the longest. He did appear on the pages of Suicide Squad and was a member of those Suicide Squad for a while, because the 4th of July was destroyed and there was nothing else. So he did team up with the Suicide Squad for a while before he died on the pages of Eclipso. Lady Liberty. Lady Liberty had no name. We know where she appeared. Same creators. She had the power of pyrokinesis. Now, she dressed up as the Statue of Liberty and used the torch, but the torch wasn't the source of her powers. It was like a focusing rod. It allowed her to focus her powers better. Now, she would die on the pages of Suicide Squad, destroying a major satellite, and it blew up and killed her. And in the final pages, it was Suicide Squad number 30. You can see Major Victory holding her, as until the point that she died, they were the last two of the Force of July. Now we'll come to the Sparkler. The Sparkler, also name unknown, origin unknown. I think they said he was a metahuman. He also appeared in BATOA number 1. He does have the power of pyrokinesis. He can fly and he has energy projection. Now when he flies, he has a trail of light behind him, and he's also able to fire off light beams or like fireworks. So he would die in Suicide Squad number 27 by the hands of one of what I feel is one of the most insufferable villains in DC, Dr. Light. And Dr. Light was suffering from psychosis related to teenagers acting as superheroes. So, yeah, he would go up against Teen Titans and get beaten by them. And, yeah, he fired a beam of light through the kid's center mass in Suicide Squad number 27. And that would end his life and career as part of the Force of July, which is still a ridiculous thing to say. Now we come to Mayflower, real name unknown. She is Mayflower. We all know where she appeared in. She has, and I'm going to try and say this right, coral kinesis, which means she has the ability to control plants, like poison ivy. And there's no origin story. She is British, and yeah, these guys just appeared. Part of the Force of July. She also died in Suicide Squad number 27. She was killed by Raven, who was part of the Suicide Squad. I don't think that he has any abilities. From what I've been able to understand, Raven's an assassin, but as she is holding one of the members down, Raven comes up behind her and snaps her neck. Yeah, that was brutal. And now we come to Silent Majority. I don't think that he actually talked. Silent Majority also appeared, same as everybody else. No name, no origin story. He had the ability, and they're calling it biofusion. He had the ability to create duplicates of himself. Now, the duplicates could function independently, but they were also part of a hive mind. Now, he would get killed. Let's see. Silent Majority succeeded in defeating Nucleon. It was part of Suicide Squad number 30, the same one that Lady Liberty died in. He got really close to the main scientist working on the satellite dish, but was gunned down while climbing the ladder and almost reached him. Yeah, he got shot through the chest. It was kind of unceremonious the way he died. I mean, he had duplicates of himself all over the place, and they all got shot down, and then he got zapped in the end. I mean, you're creating duplicates of yourself. Why are you in harm's way and not letting one of your duplicates hide in harm's way? You're about to climb up the ladder and confront a guy face to face who has a gun. Put your duplicate in there. Don't do it yourself. And that's just ridiculous. The story starts. It's 1984. Do you know where your freedoms are? And we see a guy giving a presentation, and he's using a slides. And he comes up to the first one. From his accent, Geoforce is not an American. Click. This girl, Halo, is probably an American and quite possibly the unwitting pawn of these outsiders. Click. These two, Black Lightning and Katana, definitely have some foreign blood in them. Okay, I honestly can see why you're saying that about Katana, but about Black Lightning, that's a horribly racist thing to say. even in 1984. That was a little racist. Metamorpho, who knows what he is? Click, this man definitely considered to be hostile as he's assembled these outsiders after quitting the Justice League of America. And as he turns the slide predictor off, we find out that his name is Eric B. Blairman. And he talked about how he's created the Force of July. I love this. The media sometimes call these outsiders hero, but we know how the media lie. Controlled as they are by the far left. And so we cut over here to Star Labs, and we find out that they have, let's see, I think he's like the prototype of a new computer circuit, and they're trying to figure out how it just seemed to have disappeared, because it disappeared without a trace. Okay, and we cut over to the Outsiders, and they pop into, well, this is a nice home. It's the home of Geoforce. And he's looking like he doesn't want to be a part of the team, or he's like a little despondent. Because, Tasu, I've been remembering the times I spent with my sister, Tara. Oh, Tara. Okay, that actually makes sense that him and Tara are siblings. If you know the Teen Titans, then you know who Tara is. Wouldn't she be Tara? Anyways. They give him his new costume. You can see in this flashback picture over here how he's got the red and gold. And he's got this new costume, and it's got his symbol on it. And he's thinking, oh, I see why you picked this color scheme. And it's to remind me who I am. And they're like, I thought it was just a good scheme. And they're like, shush, it's working. So Batman gives them an assignment, and he wants them to go out and check out the facility of Blairman. It belongs to the Blairman family. Rex B. Eric Blairman, the director of America's Security Agency, and his little sister Lorraine is the one of the only computer experts in the country who knows how to use the stolen circuitry. So this was the circuitry from the Star Labs that was missing. Blairman's sister knows how to use it properly. Now, they get outside the compound, and Black Lightning uses his power and senses that there's something going on there that they need to investigate. So as they drive away, after being scared by a army officer, Metamorpho changes into a mist form and starts investigating the premises while we have exposition. Don't worry, Eric. I told you, the Omnicast took care of the TV monitors. I know, but if the press gets wind of this before July 4th, and they're talking about the Omnicast, and this will actually be explained at the very end what the Omnicast is capable of. Now, as Metamorpho is getting close, we see something that shocks him, and he screams out in pain, and the other members of the Outsiders get ready and hop the wall. They are confronted by the Force of July, and Metamorpho is knocked down on the floor. Geoforce confronts Major Victory and is decimated. Lady Liberty takes out Halo, Mayflower takes out Katana, and Silent Majority takes down Black Lightning. Now, one of the main reasons I think that they got taken down is because they didn't know what to expect from these forces. So, Blairman says, hey, we don't want them as criminals. We don't want them yet. We need them for something else. Let the soldiers take over. So the Force of July leaves these superpowered individuals with soldiers who have no superpowers at all. This makes all the sense in the world. Okay. So Halo, I guess, slows them down. I really don't know what Halo's powers are. But apparently she slows them down, and he finds out something about Project Orwell. It's classified. Well, there's no problems. Not when Dr. Jace taught me how to break into a computer bank. So he breaks into Project Orwell and finds out that, let's see, have I ever, I know I'm not the one to push the panic button, Katana, but what we're mixed up in here deals with the security of America, herself, and her future. Listen up, this is what we got to do. So they're going to break up in different teams to take this on. Now, Halo and Black Lightning go over to where this launch is happening. and they want to stop the launch from going on. And what it's going to do is it's going to launch a satellite into space, which the satellite will become. You'll learn about it later. But Halo and Black Lightning come in and they start beating up the soldiers. And just as they're about to get to the control room, Sparkler and Silent Majority pop up. Now, Sparkler goes head to head with Halo and is able to take her down using his powers of fireworks. I can't say that any better. And Silent Majority takes on Black Lightning. Now, he's trying to take on certain ones of them, like one at a time. And, oh, look, he actually spoke. Don't suppose the original would want to fight one-on-one. Nope. And as Halo thinks that she disrupts Sparkler's power, as he's throwing more fireworks, Silent Majority is going up against Black Lightning, but then they go ahead and get a fire hose and they douse him with water, which short circuits Black Lightning. Halo goes outside to try to stop the launch of the satellite. Sparkler gets her from behind, and they beat both of them. Now, Metamorpho and Katana go to an electronics store where they're holding the circuitry that was stolen from the Star Labs. They give the code word, and he thinks, the guy who looks a lot like Stanley, gives them the computer stuff that they're there for before Major Victory and Lady Liberty can get to them. So they walk outside and they're attacked. So Major Victory confronts and takes down Metamorpho. And Metamorpho, even with all of his element bending powers, Major Victory still is able to overpower him and knock him out. Now, Katana does a pretty good job of going up against Lady Liberty and knocks her torch away and says, hey, you took my weapon, you need to surrender. And she says, you have deprived me of my weapon, Katana, but not my skills. The torch is an ornament, a focusing device. The power is mine. So Katana didn't realize that she could still fight without the torch. So Major Victory and Katana, they take down Metamorpho and Katana, and they get their computer circuitry, and they take off. A good day for America, lady. I caught these two traitors and got the components from Mr. Blair's Omnicast. A good work day indeed, huh, Major Victory? And nobody got hurt except the bad guys. Yet there's this family whose home got seriously crushed. A black family whose home got crushed while they were fighting. Well, a big hole in the roof. And they're trying to say nobody got hurt except for the bad guys. It seems racist. I'm sorry. I know there's a big difference. This was 1984. We're in 2024. This was, 40 years ago? It still seems racist. It really does. 84, 94, 94 to 04, 44. Yeah, 40 years ago. Wow, I do feel old. And I'm older than this. Okay. Geoforce knows the locations of the secret underground base, and when he gets to the location, Mayflower is actually there and alerted to it. So she goes out there and starts to fight Geoforce. Now, Geoforce has connections with the Earth, so this is a battle that she's actually struggling with. So she tries to wrap him in vines, he breaks out of it. She tries to wrap him in these like gigantic thorny vines, and he sets them on fire with his Geoforce powers and breaks out of it and is coming after her. So she bombards him with trees, and I'm really confused about how her power works, where she makes all these trees suddenly come over to crush him. I know she controls plants. It's chlorokinesis. I don't think trees qualify as plants, do they? I mean, I might be mistaken. And then the speed that these trees move at, that's a little unreal. Anyways, as Geoforce is getting crushed, he channels all of his power and breaks the trees open, and it looks like it puts a gigantic strain on her. So he runs over to see if she's okay, and she reveals, I'm tough, Governor, hard to kill, like a plant. And then this cotton polymer plant or something flies up in his face, shoots so much pollen, and she calls it pollen, into his face that it stops him from breathing. Okay, so she killed Geoforce. No. They're real close to the base, so she takes them in. And then we see all of them locked up. Let's see. Halo, Geoforce, and Black Lightning have these cuff bars over their hands, I guess to try and stop their powers from working. I didn't realize you needed your hands for your powers. Katana's in regular old cuffs, and Metamorpho is in a containment vessel, so he doesn't break out. And we see that all the force is there, and they want to know about the satellite. So he goes in and he goes and gives them the exposition. When younger, I was intrigued by 1984 morals after learning Orwell's real name was Eric Blair. I did not fear his books as others did. Orwell's ideas were sound if only they were used by the right side. Imagine a benevolent Big Brother working against America. Yes, it is Big Brother. What we find out is while everybody is tuning into the 4th of July celebrations, he's broadcasting a beam through the Omni device that allows them to spy on every home. As you see these people walking through, you also see a picture of the family who's sitting there and watching it. It works. It works. And they're able to spy on every single household in America. And they're also able to spy on this guy who's on his computer, the life and works of Karl Marx. Okay, now, it says this man exhibits subversive tendencies. I'll put him under surveillance. I can't agree. I cannot disagree with you about that. Karl Marxism. Well, I'm not going to get political about that at all. They just say that Karl Marx is they're saying that he has subversive tendencies. Looking up Karl Marx. We'll leave it at that. Okay, and they also say that the outsiders will be attacking the White House, and they're like, "We're not going to do that." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. The Omni device allows me to basically alter what people are seeing. When they hear about an attempt of the outsiders to assault the White House and assassinate the president, they'll give the temporary powers to find the rest of you. Temporary powers that will never relinquish." And they say that the Omni device, or the Omnicast, enables us to alter any video signals or tapes and fashion undetectable forgeries. So they're going to make it look like the outsiders are attacking the White House so they can take out other metahumans and superhumans. Okay, so Halo decides to project an image of herself breaking out. And the Sparkler, being a young man, reacts harshly, thinking that Halo's getting free, and blasts the containment device that she's hooked up to, the containment gauntlets. As she gets free, she immediately frees Geoforce, and they get Katana and Metamorpho free. Everybody's ready to fight. So Black Lightning takes on Silent Majority, and he's like, "Look, instead of taking you all one by one, I'm going to take all of you in force," and takes them all out at once. Now this time, Metamorpho is ready for Sparkler. "You've got sense, Ugly. Just stand there and this won't hurt." "No, don't do it, kid. I'm warning you." Boom, and then all of a sudden it explodes. I tried to tell you that when you add fire to magnesium, you get a blinding flash, and it throws him against the wall, and he gets knocked unconscious. Lady Liberty fires her, I guess it's some sort of smoke and ash at Halo, and she's able to use her tractor beam in reverse and push it back into her, and the smoke covers her up. Now Katana takes on Mayflower, and Mayflower thinks that Katana being bound, her arm bound by her side where she can't use her sword, means that she can't fight. And Katana says only that every part of a samurai is considered dangerous, not just her sword. Knocks Lady Liberty out, and then Geoforce and Major Victory clash as hard as they can. And Major Victory this time gets defeated, and Geoforce puts rocks in front of him so he can't get into the wall. Now, they find out that Blairman's sister has disabled the self-destruct, so there's no way to make this thing blow itself up. So Geoforce is like, can you put some sort of a locator on it? I'm going to fly up there and destroy it from low orbit. And I actually think this is a keen idea. Metamorpho is saying, I'm going to go up there with you as the oxygen, since there's no oxygen up there, so they both fly out there, saying that oxygen is an element. Now, I actually think that this is a pretty cool idea. Metamorpho is supplying the oxygen so Geoforce can go into space. Let's set aside for a moment that Geoforce is breathing in Metamorpho. I actually thought that this was kind of cool. Geoforce gets himself into low Earth orbit and is able to see the satellite and blow it up. Now, I guess there's some sort of strain of him being in low Earth orbit, and he starts to fall back towards the Earth. If you go up high enough, you get zero G at that point. Okay, they blow up the satellite and they start to fall back. Metamorpho turns into some sort of heat-resistant material so that they don't burn up back in. Major Victory says, all right, little lady, you've won the battle, but you'll never take the war. And he explodes himself out of the containment, because we know he has energy projection, but he causes the whole base to collapse. The Outsiders get out, but we hear no... we don't hear anything that happens to the Force. I mean, they were in the base, but Major Victory seems to fly off. Let America be the dream of dreamers dreamed, or let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be the great strong land of love, whoever kings conceive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. Langston Hughes, let America be America again. And then we have a quick epilogue. Batman leaves a note telling the Outsiders that he's proud of them. And keep in mind, this whole thing started on July 4th. This is July 7th. And then we cut to Katana in Halo, and she can't seem to find... She has a date, which they mentioned in the beginning. And she can't seem to find out what to wear. I love the way this cat looks like it's flying out of the room. Tiger, get out of my makeup. So Katana tells her to calm down, and she gets her ready for her date, and they leave. Now, I like what's going on here. Next month, in Balto number 14, Slut Plots Galore, and Our Heroes Go to the Summer Olympics by Mike W. Barr and Bill Willington. Be here, and it'll be good. Now, I think it's funny that it says that our heroes will go to the Summer Olympics because of the release date of this video. The Summer Olympics are this month now. We're in the middle of July. The Summer Olympics will be in a couple of weeks, which is... I didn't plan this. I did not plan this. This just kind of happened. Okay, and that is the 4th of July. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too obscure. I honestly thought that this was extremely ridiculous, and I don't think Lady Liberty got enough room to really shine. I mean, she had pyrokinesis. She should have gotten more, given more. Anyways, I would have actually liked to see a little more of Silent Majority too. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you had as much fun finding out about this team as I did. And I'm gonna have to collect some of the Suicide Squad comics. They seemed interesting. I mean, I know about the Suicide Squad. I really haven't gone a lot into them. An origin of the first appearance maybe one day? I don't know. Anyways, until next time, I'll be seeing you.